Thanks very much, Sophie, and yeah, thanks for the opportunity to speak to everyone. Yeah, I've been working in enterprise sales for about 20 years now, and over the last couple of years, I've had the luxury of having a dedicated SDR that I've been working with, and Stephen, who's the ex-SDR that I've been working with over the last year. In our weekly one-to-ones, we talked a lot about the transition from an SDR into an AE role, which he's just gone into in February. And we talked a lot about how it's almost like looking behind the curtain. You move up into an AE role and suddenly you have to figure out very quickly what's involved in being an AE. And in fact, we've taken a lot of those discussions and just in the process of publishing a book, which is called How to Sell Tech, which is really a step-by-step guide on how to be a tech AE. Everything from the core sales process of prospecting, qualifying, negotiating and closing, but also a lot of the softer skills, managing meetings, presenting to large groups of people, communicating with different types of people. And then also the internal skills that are so important, constantly learning, planning your territory, planning different accounts, forecasting so that you and your manager get on well and everything happens according to plan. And so that book is coming out shortly. It's really aimed at SDRs and those that are starting first-time selling. And I think James is going to share out some free copies of that through a form that you'll be able to fill in. But a key part of the entire book and the entire process and my strategy as an AE has been around one word, and that is empathy. Empathy is the ability to see things from someone else's perspective, to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And it is so important if you want to build a long-term successful sales career. Let me tell you a couple of stories to give you some examples. So a couple of years ago, the little red car that I used to get to the train station when I was coming into London was coming up to the end of its 3-year lease. And so I got a flyer through from the local car dealership that said they had some offers on new 3-door vehicles. Did I want to come in and have a look? So I thought, okay, well, I like my little red car, so I'll come in and see what they're talking about. So I turned up and I was met by the stereotypical car salesperson, sort of thick tie, suit on, pinstripe. What are you here for? I said, well, I've got this flyer through the door and I'd like to take a look at some of your 3-doors because I'm up for renewal. And he said, no, you don't want to look at a 3-door. You want to come and look at a 5-door because that's what everyone else is buying. Right, come over here. And in that moment, I wanted to get out of that building as quickly as possible. That person had absolutely no interest in what I was there for and was only interested in trying to sell a larger vehicle that they probably had some larger incentive on. So I got out of the building as quickly as possible, and out of spite, I went home and I paid off the loan, the remaining loan on that car, and I still drive it today. At about the same time, my eldest daughter needed to get an iPad because she was just starting secondary school. So I booked an appointment to go to the Apple store with my daughter. And we turned up, and at the organized time, one of the Apple Genius Bar staff came over. How can I help you today? What are you looking for? And I said, right, we're looking to get an iPad for my daughter over here. And they asked her some great questions. What are you looking to use it for? What lessons are you taking? Do you do any media studies? What kind of music do you listen to? What kind of headphones do you have? So all of these great questions that really helped both the Genius Bar staff to understand exactly what would be the right product for us. But they addressed questions to my daughter, who was the user of the product. They addressed questions to me, who was the budget holder. And we all could agree on what was going to be the right iPad for her. And so not only did we buy an entry-level iPad, but we ended up buying a keyboard, we bought an Apple Pencil, we bought some AirPods, and we all came away happy from that. And for me, that really is the difference between bad sales, which is you trying to win and the customer losing, as in the car showroom experience, or good sales, which is really helping your customer to buy and giving them the right solution, which is what I experienced in the Apple example. So how do you...
Sure I understand.
Oh, sorry. So how do you put this into practice in your daily life? Well, the question that I ask myself the whole time in every single opportunity that I'm working on is, if I worked for that company, what would I do? And if the answer is, well, if I was in that company, in that situation, I would be buying our product or our solution, then I'll do everything in my power to help that customer to buy our product. But if I can honestly say that if I worked for their company, I wouldn't be buying our product, it's not the right fit, then I'll direct them in the right direction, which may not be our company. It may even be to a competitive company. But what I'll find by doing that is that the customer is happy because they know that I've solved their problem rather than just trying to fulfill my own needs. I'll probably end up with an opportunity down the road with that customer that is a good fit because they'll know exactly what we are good for. And I'll also free up a huge amount of my own time by qualifying out a poorly fitting opportunity so that I can actually spend more time working on things that we are a good fit for. So in wrapping up, I really talk about the empathetic manifesto. So number one, I know that I work for the best company in my sector. We sell the best products in my sector. And if you don't believe that, then maybe that's a good time to have a think about, where you're working. Number two, I'll put myself in my customer's shoes and I'll really think about whether I would buy this product if I worked for their company. If I would, then I'll do everything to help them buy. And if I wouldn't, then I'll point them in the right direction. And that really helps guide me as I go through all of my opportunities. So I hope that was helpful. James will certainly provide some information on how you can get free access to the book when it's published shortly. Look forward to answering any other questions in the networking session later.